orange zones is those places that's prone to fog infection. During the spring travel, before January the 31st, we need to pay close attention to foggy weather conditions, especially in Jiangsu province, because this is commonly known as a very foggy region with foggy weather taking up about 50 days a year. That might also affect road transport situation. And currently, as you can see, the transportation of the roads are quite smoothly operated by now. And we also remind you to plan your trip wisely and also pay attention to self-protection against COVID. And that's it for my part of today. Hello, I'm Ge Yunfei with CCTV. I'm right now at the Zhengzhou East Station, and this is the departure gate for the station. Right now, you can see that the station is not very busy as it was in the past days. This is mainly due to the infection of COVID. And today in Henan province, about more than 60 cases were reported, and 60 of them are in Anyang. So how does this COVID affect spring travel? So this is the staff member here at the station. So can you tell us how is the COVID situation affecting spring travel? Today we're expected to have about 15,000 passengers traveling from the East Station, which is about 50% lower than the previous year. What kind of countermeasures will be taken during this spring travel in order to strengthen the work during the spring travel and safeguard the health of the passengers? As you can see here, all the passengers are required to provide their test results for COVID, and also we need to check their health code as well. As I mentioned, the passenger flow of today is about 50% lower than last year because to answer the call of the nation, most of the people choose to stay put to spend their spring festival. And in this hall, you can see that we have set up checkpoint for body temperature. And if the body temperature is higher than 37.3 degrees Celsius, this person is not allowed to go into the station, have to be remained at the observation location to see if the temperature will return to normal. And we have opened up multiple ticket checking points to avoid long queues and accumulation. Because alcohol and some other disinfection is prohibited on trains because they are flammable. But don't worry, because we have set up all of these disinfection for hand and also masks to the passengers here at the station and also in the bathrooms. If you do not carry masks with you, you can get one from here. It's very easy and it's free with a single packet. What if someone forget his ID, forget to carry the ID with them? Well, in each of the departure gate, we will have this self-service temporary ID printer. Through facial recognition, you can automatically print out a temporary ID without the assistance of the staff. As you can see, this is also an electric ID. You can register yourselves to gain an electric ID. And you can apply for an electric ID 3 times a month with a validation period of 24 hours. Through this application, you can also check the countermeasures of different cities and provinces. For example, if you search for the train that you are going to take, you can take a look at the countermeasures of both Beijing and Zhengzhou here. In Henan, a very strict countermeasures is exercised, so if you want to return home, make sure that you check the countermeasures of your local authorities. You also need to report to your communities after the arrival 3 days in advance. This is the departure gate. We have also expedited this process to avoid long queuing. In the East Station, you can also be rest assured that we carry out disinfection on a very high frequency. So for daily disinfection activities, we do it every 4 hours, and in key places such as the departure gate, arrival gate, and the lounge, and other enclosed space, we carry out this kind, we call this this kind of key disinfection activities. So in these key places, the disinfection activities take place every 2 hours. During the Spring Festival, the hall is quite empty, which is quite counterintuitive. And since last year to now, Zhengzhou has experienced 3 major outbreaks. So what do you feel as a person working in the railways? Actually, our expectations and aspiration has never changed, despite the disturbance of the COVID-19. We aim at provide a safe and care, this kind of attentive care to the passengers. But against the backdrop of COVID, We are also trying to facilitate the traveling of the passengers. So we also have improved the level of automation in this station so as to avoid person-to-person contact. You also mentioned that if you want to travel, you need to carry this PCR test result with you. And do you accept paper copy, hard copy, or e-copy will also do? Both is fine. As an important juncture of Zhengzhou, of the nation, and currently Zhengzhou is a place with some mid and high risk regions. So if a passenger wants to travel or transfer here, what advice do you have for them? Well, for the people that are taking the connected train, you just need to follow the signs, which are very obvious and easy to follow. And people worry about the risks of being quarantined when they transfer here at the station. What do you want to say to them? Well, currently, according to the government's policy, you will not be quarantined if you are only here for transfer. I myself actually took a PCR test today. And in these stations, all the staff members and all of the facilities must be tested in a very as a part of the routine work. And let's join these people to see how are they going to take a PCR test for the equipment. So how do you take a COVID test on the equipment and also the facilities of the station? This is the sampling box and the cotton swab and all of the other necessary utensils. Normally it would take 4 people to take the samples. Can you show us? Sure. This is a very enclosed box to ensure that the samples are not affected or polluted. This tube is for the accumulation of the sample. This is for taking the samples. During the sampling process, we also prepare this garbage bag and disinfection. Okay, now let's get to work. So first we need to number the areas that we need to take samples of. This is like registering before a person takes the test. Currently, we have divided the station into 52 areas. You know, the entrance, the ticket checkpoint, as well as the lounge and so on. So we have numbered these different areas. So first we need to damp the cotton swab. And to press it against this area. This is for ID identification. And that's one sample. And then you need to store the sample into the tube. Throw the garbage into the bag. Zip the lid. Another round of disinfection. And seal it in the bag. Another round of disinfection. And then we have to place the samples into this storage tank. It needs to be sealed to avoid contamination or leakage, and another round of disinfection. In this way, we finished this round of sampling. And last but not least, another round of disinfection at the exterior. Thank you very much. That is a special area. That is the second security check for passengers going to Beijing. For all the passengers entering Beijing or traveling to Beijing, they need to first check the health code and also show their PCR test results. And they also need to go through a second security check. Because I travel from Beijing today and I have to travel back. And we know that Beijing is about to host the Winter Olympic Games. And yesterday, Beijing reported one positive case. So right now, Beijing has very strict measures in terms of COVID prevention. So what kind of procedures should the passengers going to Beijing take? As I mentioned, they need to have they need to go through 2 security checks and to have their health code and PCR test result checked before boarding the train. We also want to remind the passengers that if you are traveling to Beijing, you need to arrive here earlier than usual to prepare for all the checks. So what if the passengers could not provide the PCR test result after arriving at the station? If that's the case, there will be a lot of restraints after arrival. You might be quarantined and to wait for your PCR test results. And also, you will be forbidden to take the public transport after arrival. So if the person takes the PCR test when arriving at the station, this person still cannot use the public transport, yes? Yes, you can only travel through your private cars. But we also provide this expedited sampling services or PCR test stations at the station. This is an instruction for the passengers to show their health code and their travel code. I actually am a bit worried about my trip back to Beijing, and let me try if my health code is normal. So due to the impact of COVID situation in Henan province, the spring travel of the station is affected, but countermeasures are also taken to facilitate travel and also to exert this kind of countermeasures. So make sure to check the policies before you travel to or from the Zhengzhou East Station. And my colleagues right now in Shenyang. Let's take a look at the situation there. Hello everyone, I'm at the Shenyang Station's East Square. As you can see, this station is not very busy at the moment. On the first day of spring travel, we come to Shenyang train station to check out the situation. This is one of the busiest train station in Shenyang. Although there aren't a lot of passengers, we can see that the staff of the station have done a lot of preparations for the spring travel. The station has opened up 100 temporary trains to facilitate travel to Dalian and Changchun and so on. And also night trains are opened during the peak season of spring travel. Let's go to the ticketing office to take a look. As you can see here, there isn't a long queue in the ticketing office. In this ticketing office, not all of the windows are open at the moment. So why do you make such arrangement? Well, we work in 4 shifts currently, and we will be opening up more windows during the peak seasons. So we'll be adjusting the shifts during this peak season, yeah? This is an instruction if the passengers forgot to take the ID or lost their personal ID. So in the past, you will have to go to these windows and to seek help from the staff. But currently, you can apply for a temporary ID through your cell phone. It's very easy to operate. You can open up this official application of the railway, and this is where you can apply for a temporary personal ID, and this QR code will be generated as your temporary ID and is valid for 24 hours. You can purchase a ticket or even return the ticket, refund the ticket. If you have already purchased the ticket online, you can receive your ticket automatically here. So we do disinfection on these ticketing machines every 4 hours. So COVID-19 containment is a top priority in our work during the spring travel. This is also a machine for ID application. So if you forget to take your personal ID with you, you can apply for a temporary ID here. You can just insert your personal ID number. If the passengers has difficulty applying for for using their cell phones or something like that, they can apply for a personal ID through this machine. Just enter your ID number, and then your personal ID will be printed out immediately. It's very convenient. You have also done a lot of preparation to deal with emergencies that might occur during the spring travel. Here you can see we have set up a special window for the senior citizens as well as those people with physical disabilities. Despite the drop of passenger flow, we have done all of the measures that we can to make sure that the Spring Festival operates in a smooth manner. What are other measures that you've taken to cope with spring travel season? For example, what if a passenger wants to transfer through the station? We have a major change in this year's spring travel. This year, no matter if you're taking the high-speed bullet train or this kind of common speed train, you can realize this transferring through taking the lifts, and you do not need to go out to recheck your tickets. There are also expedited channel open up for the passengers. Do you have plans for the emergencies? For example, when the number of passengers suddenly increase? We also have opened up expedited transferring channel for those who are taking a connected train. This is the entrance of the Shenyang train station. We see very few passengers at this moment. This spring's travel is different than the past. Here you can see the banner says we need to strengthen countermeasures during railway transport in the spring travel. So, entering into the station, you need 3 things to access. You need your ID, your health code, as well as your masks. We have set up service stations to provide free masks for the passengers, because some passengers may forget to wear a mask, or probably their mask was broken on their way here. And there is also a green channel or speedy channel for the senior citizens and those who do not have access to cell phone networks. This is a special registration desk for them. And before you go into the station, you have to scan your QR code. As is known to all, Beijing is about to host the Winter Olympic Games. So for all the passengers heading towards Beijing, we also need to check their PCR test results. This is a deposit location. And here we also set up this special card for those people that are here to pick up or see their relatives or friends off. So for special groups, if they're in need, they can apply here. And after approval, you can go into the station to pick somebody up or see somebody off if the person is really in need. For example, if it's a senior citizen or a person with disabilities. I think from what I can see, in the first day of spring travel, everything is in order and operating smoothly. And you must have put a lot of efforts into creating this very good environment for all of the passengers. So thank you for your hard work. And we wish we can have a very smooth and very peaceful and very safe and healthy spring travel. During the spring travel, security is another important matter. And now we will be talking to a station police. So, can you say hello to our viewers? Hello, my name is Zhang Chunyu. I'm a policeman here at the Shenyang train station. We can see that your colleagues are there to help the passengers to check their ID and also to maintain the orders. That special entrance is open up for those disadvantaged groups, people with disabilities and so on. So we have deployed one policeman there. We are also patrolling all around the station to see if there's any emergencies that occur. Because today is the first day of spring travel. So before today, we have done some trainings to help us to make plans for the spring travel and make sure that everybody is aware of these rules. In the hall, we have noticed that there are a lot of signs to to instruct the passengers to contact the police if they are in need. This is a QR code to access the police force. And also, if you are in need, you can also reach us through scanning of the QR code. You can scan it and then send a message, and our staff members at the platform, they will receive the message and provide help with you. Because almost everybody has access to the cell phones, and so this is a innovative work on our side. Will you also do patrol on trains as well? Yes, we do have a station police. And we have sent out a special squad to deal with emergencies. This is also to safeguard the safety of railway traveling. In the past, we saw some illegal activities concerning spring travel, especially on the railways. And how do you remind people against fraud? Well, this year, due to this very strict control measures, especially for passengers going to Beijing, if you want to go to Beijing, you have to provide this negative test results. So some people do not have time to do that, so they just get someone to forge the negative certificate for them. This is illegal. This kind of counterfeit activities would be punished if it's discovered. So we want to remind all the passengers to prepare the license and certificate beforehand. What are the other emergencies that might occur due to based on your experiences? Well, some people do not know about the rules or regulations. some people may carry knives. Maybe they carry it because they want to use it to cut fruits or something. But sometimes the knives are not up to standard to be carried on train. What about hairspray? That is not up to standard. If through the scanning, if the passengers carry something that is not allowed on train, we will remind them to discard it at the station, or you can also choose to have it delivered to your destination. And also make sure that you carry your own luggage with you, especially after it goes through the security check. As you can see, the police forces are also here to help the security check professionals. We'll also help the staff here to remind the passengers to discard the to get rid of the things that is not up to standard, that is not allowed on train. You also see this kind of patrol cars. They're not only used for patrolling, but also to help the passengers with, for example, difficulty in mobility, so as to help them to get to the departure gate faster. We often receive calls of assistance from senior citizens, for example. And also some passengers may have difficulties telling the directions, so sometimes they cannot find their entrance or their gate. This is also a special button set up for reporting to the police. If you encounter some emergency, you can press the button to call us. This button will directly be linked to our head office, to our office, and because we have installed cameras in it, so once the button is pressed, we can see the real-time image of the location. Well, I think this place is quite secured from my point of view. We have a station police, we have patrolling police, and we also have this kind of button to talk to the police. Thank you so much for your hard work and very, very thoughtful arrangement. Just now we have get to know some of the arrangement concerning countermeasures of COVID-19 and security. So we will not talk to this spokesperson here to tell us more about the countermeasures of COVID-19. Hello everyone. You have walked all the way from the entrance to the lounge. Now I will be briefing you on some of the countermeasures of COVID-19 during the spring travel. First is the check of the health code and the body temperature checkpoints, as well as the very frequent disinfection activities across the station. In the lounge, as you can see, all the passengers are sitting with appropriate social distance. We also carry out very frequent disinfection in the public areas, as well as ventilation. We can see that this person is carrying out disinfection at the moment, so we do this every 2 hours. In care area such as the bathroom, we do it in a higher frequency. Here at the service station, we also provide these hand gels for disinfection. And also we provide free masks to the passengers. You can just simply register here and get free mask. This kind of services is provided at all the key junctures of the station. What about on train? After a train goes to arrives at Shenyang station, what kind of activities will you be carried on? During the Spring Festival, countermeasure and COVID-19 prevention is a key part to our work. At the station, for example, at the lounge, at the arrival and departure gate, and also for those trains that have traveled through or from the mid and high risk area, we also carry out disinfection to key parts such as the handles, the bathrooms, and the gate. For the passengers, make sure that you wear the masks all the time throughout your travel. And sometimes we also control the occupancy rates inside the train. We also do a very thorough inspection on the exterior of the trains. What if a passenger suffers from high temperature? What kind of contingency plan do you have? If a passenger is experiencing fever or abnormal body temperature, we have a station doctor to do a confirmed body temperature check. If the temperature is still abnormal, this person must be kept in quarantine in the observation location of the station. If the person continues to experience high temperature, he or she will be sent to the quarantine carriage, and we will also notify the station of his arrival to pay attention to the situation. Thank you so much for your hard work. We look forward to a safe and healthy spring travel season. Today we've taken you to some places and listened to the introduction of the station workers on their measures to deal with the spring travel. Today is the first day of spring travel, and we hope that this year we can all have a very joyful spring festival season. That's all for the situation of Shenyang. And our next station is in Hefei of Anhui Province. Good morning, viewers. Our colleagues have taken you to Henan and Liaoning, and I'm right now at the toll station of Hefei City. So compared to railway, a lot of people would also choose to drive on themselves for spring travel. Anhui is also in the middle of the country, and it's an important juncture for road travel. Today we have Mr. Hu Jun with us. So can you tell us more about the spring travel policies? How many entrance and exit are there? So altogether we have 20 lanes, among which 12 are arrival and 8 for departure. The Zhengzhou toll station is a very busy toll station during the spring travel. After this year's spring travel season, the station will be closed up for maintenance. Is that correct? Yes, the city is developing very fast, and due to construction requirement, we plan to close up the station temporarily. Will the passenger flow increase today? From the numbers that we projected, it is already going up. It is up by 12% compared to last year. 12% an increase compared to last year. So what are the features for spring travel of this year? Well, this year, due to the impact of COVID-19 and also the control measures taken by the local governments, it will affect the passenger flows. Well, this is actually a benefits provided to the car owners. Where are you traveling from? I'm from Henan. This is the first day of spring travel, so this is a small gift for you. Something for you to decorate your house. Make sure that you wear your masks. So this is a small gift given to the passengers returning home. This is very heartwarming, I should say. As I mentioned, because of the impact of COVID-19 and the countermeasures, we have made some adjustment in our policies and regulations. This year, some people, in order to ensure their own health and safety, they would intentionally avoid public transport and take private cars and travel by private cars instead. So the passenger flow at the rail transport will possibly increase. But overall speaking, because of the control measures in different locations, the number of passengers will probably drop compared to the years before COVID. But compared to 2021, the passenger flow is up by about 5%. On a daily basis, about 2 million people will travel through rail transport. What kind of gifts do you have here besides the gifts? We also have this medicine box containing drugs for daily use, and also bandage, masks, and so on. So if the passengers have needs like this, they can also seek help from you. What's in this toolbox? Well, if your car suffer from some malfunction during the travel, there are some simple equipment for them. This is the spring couplet from which you can choose. This is a very lovely tiger. We know that next year will be the year of tiger. Very lovely. For Anhui province, it is at the middle part of the country, and it's an important juncture for transportation nationwide. So you must be under a lot of pressure, especially during the spring festival season. That's right. As a middle province, we connect the east and the west. A lot of expressways go through our province. This is a map to show you how important is Anhui in this road map of the country. Let's take a closer look at this map. So there are several main expressways, the G40, G42, G36, G3. These are all expressways. And here is G50, which is mainly for freight transport. It goes all the way from the eastern provinces to the west. So from north to south, this is G3, G35, that goes to Guangzhou. And before the Spring Festival, there is a very large transport going from the Yangtze River Delta to the north. And in what places will the traffic be more concentrated? We have G42 and G40. These are locations for frequent traffic jams. So we need to pay special attention to these junctures. During this spring travel, if I'm a driver, what kind of services can I receive? What kind, especially in terms of information disclosure? We have set up a special service helpline, which is 96566. If you have any request or demand, you can reach us through this number to seek help. We also have a map application, and this kind of travel information, for example, traffic jam and accident, will be disclosed online in a very timely manner so as to facilitate traveling. And the maintenance of expressways is an important part of your job, right? So in daily maintenance, what kind of technologies will you rely, or will you only rely on manual work? Traditionally, we mainly rely on the patrols of our maintenance workers, but currently we have installed the patrol cars with HD cameras, and the data can be transported to the system, to the central systems, as the car patrols. And in this way, the information will be gathered in a much faster manner, and also it will be more accurate than manual work, and it can increase our work efficiency by 3 to 5 times. You can see that the staff members are working very busily at the toll stations, because right now we're at the first day of spring travel, so we have also deployed more workers there to make sure that the cars can pass the toll station in a very fast manner. So what kind of measures have you taken to ensure the security and safety for all the people that are returned from other places during the spring travel? We have been working with relevant authorities to work out the measures. First, we have strengthened the work protections for the people that are working in the front line. We provide masks and PPE for them. And also, they are equipped with all kinds of disinfection materials and equipment. We have also opened up green channel for the vehicles that are transporting PPEs and other goods for COVID-19 containment. We also give priority to the cars and vehicles to transport daily necessities and groceries. We have streamlined the process and also to reduce person-to-person contact during this traveling and at the checkpoint. At the service station and gas stations, we have also strengthened our countermeasures. For example, we have set up temperature checkpoints and also we have strengthened disinfection inside the service station. We have also increased the storage of COVID-19 containment equipment, including hand gel, masks, gloves, and PPE. What you're seeing now is this COVID-19 test stations at the toll station of the expressways. This is also set up to facilitate travels. So for people that come back to the provinces from other places, they can have their test taken here. I'm with the Lianhua community of Hefei City. Is this the first time that you set up this checkpoint for COVID-19 test? So what kind of people should take the tests? Well, if you're returning from other provinces, you can have your test taken here for free. You can just take your ID. I traveled from Hangzhou to Henan. My hometown is in Zhoukou of Henan. So are you going to take the test? Yes, I need to take the test. So how long will he know the test results? He will be able to check it through applications after a few hours. This is the first day of spring travel. So what do you feel about the traffic situation on the road? I think it's good, and also I think they have very strict countermeasures as well. So how do you protect yourself during traveling? Well, I need to wear the masks and also pay attention to disinfection and personal hygiene. Do you think that's a waste of time to be here to take the test? Well, I fully understand. I think it's very necessary. Well, this passenger is here to get the sample taken. This gentleman travels from Hangzhou to Henan. So we have very strict countermeasures all through these past years. So this checkpoint is one of the countermeasures. So all of the tests are for free, and you don't need to wait here for the results. And the test result will be sent to your cell phone in 6 hours' time. You can just readily access it through your cell phone application. Is this a request of the local disease control department? Well, this measure will continue until the March the 15th. Currently, we do not have a very big passenger flow at the moment. So you will be sending the test samples to the laboratories in a few hours, right? Yes. Well, that means that the people will not have to wait for too long for the test results. After your introduction, we have understand more about the traveling policies and countermeasures during the COVID situation. We can see an increase of passenger flow over the years. I think the peak season, peak time is about 1 or 2 days prior to the Spring Festival, about 27th or 28th of December in the lunar calendar. So as time goes by, we will expect to see an upsurge in terms of passenger flow. So I have a small question in terms of the statistics. How do you calculate the exact number of passengers? Well, because Anhui province sends off a lot of migrant workers to other provinces, a lot of people will be returning to Anhui during the Spring Festival season, and we actually have this kind of registration system at the toll stations, which can tell us the exact numbers of passengers. What kind of advice do you have for those people that are traveling during the Spring Festival? First, you need to know very clearly your routes, and also you need to know the locations for service stations as well as gas stations. Make sure to get your gas tank filled before traveling. And guard against any emergencies that might occur. In order to ensure the safe and secure travel during the Spring Festival, our multiple authorities are working together to work out the countermeasures and prepare for this kind of different services at the toll stations. All of these measures is aiming at helping the people to have a very peaceful and healthy holidays at home. We believe that these measures will be very effective in ensuring that people can return home safely and enjoy their family reunion during this festival. Besides rail transport, some passengers might also take the trains. So as a major transportation juncture, what is the situation in Shanghai railway station? And let's now take a look. Good morning, viewers. Right now, we are at the Hongqiao railway station of Shanghai. As you know, that this is an important transportation hub in Shanghai that connects the railways and airways. Today, we have Mr. Zhang, the director of Shanghai Station, on duty today. This is a special spring festival for Shanghai because in the past days, Shanghai has reported several new cases of COVID. So what kind of measures have you taken during this festival?